left end.
Oh.
That's it, you're recording now.
Have you enjoyed your day with us?
Oh, I've had a marvellous day.
Thanks for letting me use the camera.
That's all right.
I've took my thumb off for the red light start when you're ready.
Doug, next time, wear a hard hat, man.
.08 at Laira, and we are in the final stage of preparing her for the Valiant Thunder Rail Tour on Saturday the 23rd of November. It will be our last final run from Bristol to Newquay and back to Bristol. In my hand, I've been given an A exam sheet by my senior supervisor, and we will go through the items one by one to finalise the A exam for Saturday. The first item on the A exam sheet is to check the driver's repair book, which I've got in my hand. I must look through the couple of pages before to see that all the repairs are squared up. Into number 1 cab with a radiator behind me, one of my first jobs will be to check the illumination of the dials on the driver's desk. Having done so, we will check all the safety features in the cab. The first safety feature will be the new installed telephone, which is direct to the supervisor's office. Having checked the phone is working, I will then do all the safety check through the cab of all the safety items required if the locomotive breaks down. I will check the detonators behind me, the track safety clips and the fire extinguisher for all the seals to make sure they're all in date. Okay. The engine being shut down, I will enter the engine room and I will check the coolant gauge to make sure that there's coolant in the radiator before I go into the engine room and check the engine oils and general look round. Right, we are now in the engine room of 5008 and I will dip the lube oil before commencing start. Having checked the lube oil, I'm quite happy to start the engine on the return to the cab. I will now look just a general look around in the engine room and check the engine governor the other side before commencing to start. Having been through the engine room, I've now checked all my oils for levels and all the fixtures and fittings, and I'm now entered number 2 cab. I will now check all the safety items in number 2 cab as we did in the sequence when we started the A exam. Having started the engine, I will now enter the engine room and check for gas blows, oil, fuel and coolant leaks, and also take a lube oil sample which will be sent away to Muswell Hill for analysis. I'm now under the locomotive and we'll check the general items for loose and defective parts. We are now going to do the underframe check on 5008. This will include buffers, buffer beam hoses, general running gear on the bogies, brake piston stroke, brake locks, wheels and tyres, and a good general examination of both bogies and underframe. My final test of 5008 on the axam will be a full running check, in which I will start the engine and do a full brake test from both cabs. On doing so, I'll commence restarting 5008. Having restarted 5008, I will now look at all the lamps on the nose ends and check the windscreen wipers before I do my final brake test. I will now check the headlight and all the lights on the nose end in general. Then onto the windscreen wipers, driver's side and co-driver's side. Also windscreen washers. I'm now in number 2 cab and I will carry out a full brake test so that the locomotive is in A1 condition when it leaves laira. One of the most important features of the brake test is the DSD, the driver's safety device. We will now take power I will release the pedal. At the same time, the brakes should disappear and the locomotive should come out of power, automatically stopping the train. That is a full DSD check. My final check on 5008's axam will be the roof hatches were pinned down and safe. Having completed the 26 items on the exam sheet, I will now hand it over to my senior supervisor, who will release the loco for the rail tour on Saturday the 23rd of November.
It was on board.
Just another run between Plymouth and Gunnislake, but for these passengers, there's a surprise on board.
It's lovely, and I don't know what I'm expecting to see, really. It's just an adventure.
We've got the sunshine and a picnic, and looking forward to a nice day.
The scenery's smashing. It's not too long, so it's not too inconvenient, and it's better than the buses.
When midnight choo-choo leaves from Beeralston, I'll be right there, I've got my fare. And when I see that mean old head conductor man, I'll grab him by his collar and I'll holler, Beeralston, that's where you stop this train, that's taking it home again.
The line is actually one of the great survivors. Back in the 60s, it was one of the lines that was threatened by the beaching axe, and lines either side of it actually closed. So here we are 30 years on. You see how many people are on this train. People are now able to still enjoy that line, a line that people would have thought 30 years ago would have gone by now.
And it's not just the line that's marking its birthday today. Calstock Viaduct was completed in 1908 and it brought trade to the area for decades, something celebrated today.
Brings back memories of all the fruit and flowers that used to go away. It was quite busy. On an average season there would be about 350,000 packages that would go away from the Tamar Valley, going to London, Covent Garden, Spitalfield Market, all the main cities and throughout the country.
Today made one thing certain, there'll be many happy returns.
Well, I've never got on board a train and found a jazz band. What a lovely surprise for everyone.
Those passengers will want that every day now, won't
Yeah,
they?
definitely. But last night's display made up for that. Philip Lote reports.